And welcome back. This is going to be basically a bonus type series that I'll be doing on how to mod in-game equipment and modded equipment for those who really are not sure what they're doing. And they're wondering, well, gee, how did you increase the power of your tractor or the top speed? Or how did you make that silo accept potatoes and sugar beets or wheat or grass and straw, which typically most silos will only hold grains? I'm basically going to make this a multiple part series that I'll do on how to mod your in-game equipment and your vehicles. So to start with, what we need to do is I'm just using a start screen here. You need to understand where this is all happening. We'll just minimize this. And first things first, you have to be able to find the file. Now, I've created shortcuts to both of these directories, but I'll show you from the beginning. What you need to do is you need to go to where you're first, if this is an in-game vehicle, this is the directory path. If it's a mod, it's different. It's in your documents. But in-game vehicles, you go to Program Files x86, you go to Steam, you go to Steam Apps, Common, and then find your game. If that was too quick, well, you can always rewind and follow along that way. Open up Farming Simulator. Now you're looking for data. In the data folder, you will find your vehicles, as well as placeables and like if you want to alter a silo, that's where that would be. But we'll stay on point here today. I'm just going to show you how to increase the horsepower and speed of a tractor. You can also alter its price, alter its wear duration. In other words, how long between the cycle how long does it go before it needs to be repaired, and that becomes really prevalent when you're dealing with seeders. I mean, I've got seeders that I can put on a big field that can't even finish the field before the work speed is slowing down, and that work speed slows down because the vehicle is in need of repair. Giants overdid that repair cycle. I should be able to do at least 5 or 6 big fields before any kind of repair needed to be even looked at. So I found that it was slowing down far too quickly because of the repair cycle. So I'm going to show you how to adjust that. Okay, so let's pick a vehicle. And what we'll do is we'll look for, say, the Fiat tractor. Now, I have already altered this, but I'm going to alter it again. So you open up this Fiat folder. Now, there's only one Fiat. Now, if you hover over these different files, and that's these Notepad++, you are going to need this program. It's a free download. It's a small file, but you need this Notepad++ to alter these files, okay, or to edit them. So we're looking for XML files, and if you see here, it says, whoops, if you read the properties, it says it's an XML file. This is what you're looking for. So if you open this up, you have Notepad++, it's only one of 2. Now this one is an i3D file. Sometimes, and again, this is a little bit more advanced, you will need to alter something in here. But for now, the simple alterations we're making all happen in the XML file. So let's double click, open this up, and Notepad opens this up into a page that looks like this. Now I have already altered this vehicle. Okay, so what I'm going to do is it comes with 120 horsepower or something like that. I upped it to 290. So let's just make this an even 300 horsepower, which is a very decent high-end medium-sized tractor. So I have to change it here, but pay attention, you need to change other things too to achieve this goal. Max speed, I believe, was 48. We're going to make it 62. Whoops. Max speed. Tell you what, I had it at 60. We're going to make it 58 as our max speed. Now, you have to change things down below for that to take effect. It's not just that simple. It is still simple, but you have to change it again down below. So we're going to come down, and what I'm looking at are these subheadings. Okay, we're looking for motor or motorized in this instance. Okay, if you didn't like how much fuel it was using, maybe it's using too little and you want a more realistic fuel burn, you can up the usage right here and it'll go through fuel a lot faster. Okay, here's the differential and torque ratios. This does apply, but we don't alter it here. Okay, so here it is. We changed the horsepower to 300. Now, important to note that, like, say the Fendt, for instance. The Fendt tractor has a 1030, a 1040, a 1050. In this motorized configuration is where you will see 3 different motors. Okay, but in the top line here is where you affect your max forward speed. This applies to the first motor, but it also applies to all motors beyond that. So you'll look for your max forward speed. We want to change this to 58. Now, why am I increasing the horsepower? Because I have modded trailers that hold a lot more. Or maybe I want to use this tractor to pull a plow. Okay. In this instance, just changing this speed does not necessarily a magic wand make that it'll do it, because, and I'll show you here, it has to do with gear ratios. At 2300 RPM, this gear ratio right from Giants or the modder has been set to achieve a top speed of what was 60, or maybe it was 25 at one time. We're using another tractor. It will never go beyond 25 miles per hour if you do not change the minimum forward gear ratio. I think this originally was like 21 or something like that, because the tractor didn't go very fast. I think it only did like 34 kilometers an hour or something like that, 38 at 2300 RPM. So what you need to do is you need to reduce the minimum forward gear ratio, which means it is now going to travel faster. So to achieve our 58, I had to lower this from like 21 to 9. I basically cut it in half, okay, because I'm almost doubling the speed. You can alter your minimum backward speed. The other thing to consider when you're upping the horsepower on a tractor is you're doing this for a reason. Maybe you want to pull a plow, or maybe you want to pull a trailer that you've modded from holding 8,000 to 40,000. Well, all of a sudden you got all this weight, and you stand on the brake and the thing won't stop. Well, that's because you need to alter the brake force. I think originally this thing had a brake force of around 3 or something like that. But because I will pull, excessively heavy trailers with it, I had to up the brake force on it. And you play with it a little bit. I find that if you're in if you quadruple at least the brake force, you're in the realm of reasonable. You might want to come back and change it again. Now, when you up the horsepower and you up the brake power, horsepower is only one derivative of where the power comes from for this tractor. Do not play with the torque ratios, just the torque scale, this number. I believe it was originally like 0.8 something. Because this tractor was never designed to pull anything heavy. Anywhere between the 2s and the 3s and the 4s and the 5s, so even as high as a 6 in the torque scale, depending on how much power you really want. That's about how high you can go with it. So I upped it to 3.235. I think it was about maybe 1.235 or even 0.935. So I changed it to, a little bit to make it 0.325. Now, the other thing we can do is change the repair cycle. I was having a cedar, for instance. I couldn't even finish a large field without its work speed slowing down because the vehicle needed repair. And I find Giants has set that repair cycle a little on the hefty side. And this is where you find it. You search the word wearable. Okay, how do you search a word? Well, let's go up here and I'll show you how to find your words that you need to search if you don't like reading all the file to find what you're looking for. So you can search wearable, and look at that. Instantly takes me to the first instance. It could be several instances. You find next, until you find what you're looking for. So if you want to change the motor, you change it at the top. You can type in motorized into that search index, hit search, and come down to where you define where we were just altering those numbers. Now, wearable duration or wear duration, I think to start with, this is 480. I made it 9,480, essentially multiplying by almost 20 or a little bit better. It's cycle before it needed repair. These work multipliers, I think this was like a 3 and a 5. If you make them 1, it also reduces it, because the work multiplier means whatever the base wear duration is, when that's a 5, it's going to be 5 times as much wear when it's working, and then another multiplier for being in the field too. So whether you're on the road, it wears at a certain level. If you're in the field, it'll wear even faster. I've made these just 1. It doesn't wear any faster doing what it does to keep that wear duration up. Now, for sake of just making it even more reasonable, I'll multiply it by about 5 times. So I'm going to change that to 2,480. Plus, I get a little extra bonus here that it doesn't wear even faster when I work it. Okay. And the reason I lowered it now is because in my one of my mods, I believe it is the vehicle manager, you will see that's the one that brings it up on screen where you can have a list of vehicles and you can just drop right into that vehicle, sort of like a teleport. If you highlight that vehicle and hit Alt R, left Alt R, you bring up the repair function. You can actually repair all your vehicles from in the list. You don't have to go through the garage. And I like that. I don't mind, I like the realism of them wearing out, but I didn't want to go to the garage. And that mod did not exist when I changed most of these files. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make that 1,480. So it'll go a good ways before it needs repair, but I can just bring it up in the list and repair it through that mod. Now, the washable duration is 90. In other words, dirt collects on it very fast. I like my machines clean. I don't mind washing them, but I don't want it filthy because I used it in one field or did one thing with it. So I've multiplied that significantly. Wash duration is typically 1, not 0.5. And what that is when you put the pressure washer to it, how long, time-wise, does it take for that thing to be fully clean? I find it a little long too. I cut it in half by making it 0.5. Okay, so basically that I've just covered all the things you could consider in what you want to do to a vehicle. Okay, and I don't have to scroll to the top, but once you've done all that, you need to go to the file and you need to hit save. You can only do this when the game is not running. You cannot be in the game, okay, which we are at the moment. So I need to close this window. It wasn't a game I needed to save, and I need to now click file and save. Once I've done that, it's done. If you're altering a modded vehicle, which is an RAR file, it's the same idea. If I look at, say, a Fendt, I find the XML file, not the XML description, just the XML file, and I open that up. I can then do the same thing, and when I hit file, so I just want to change one thing here. We're going to make this 72, and I'm going to hit file, and I'm going to hit save. When I close this window, I'm going to get another dialog box, and this is because of the WinRAR. I've altered the archive. Do I wish to update it? And the answer is always yes. It alters the archive, and you're done. So let's go in and check our Fiat tractor to see, in fact, I can't remember now. Oh my goodness. What did we change the top speed to so I can tell you that it actually worked? Let me go right to the top. I believe we changed it to 58. Yes, okay. So let's start the game. I'll show you that we've indeed changed all of that, and it did work. In the next episode, I'm gonna make a series of these. I'm gonna show you how to alter trailer capacities. In other words, I like using the little SEK 802, the little tiny green box trailers that you originally get from the beginning of the game. I find them very easy to use, and mine holds 40,000 liters. And with that Fiat tractor, I can pull 2 of them. Now, be careful about how, I'll cover that in that episode, but you got to be a little careful as the numbers. It's not the sky's the limit. You'll run into limitations and physics factors in the game. Okay, so let's find our Fiat tractor. Oh, and I'll show you, this is my vehicle list. How, in fact, I am, that is the camera mod that they need to, when I'm looking at a menu, to stop changing my vehicle height or my player height. Okay, here is the 1300 DT. So let's take it for a little spin, and I'll in fact show you that it does 58 kilometers per hour. There we go, 58. And I'll remind you again, you can only achieve that 58 by altering in both spots the speed, but altering that minimum forward gear ratio. Very important. And it should have a heck of a set of brakes right now, because we're not even hauling anything. There's the brake. Instant stop. I got nothing for weight on it. And that, my friends, is that. And this is how we alter the Fiat tractor, or any vehicle for that matter. I hope you found it informative, and you come back and I'll show you how to change trailers and capacities. I'll even show you how to change harvesters, harvest speeds, work speeds, the capacity of the harvester, what kind of fruits that harvester header will take off the field. Are you tired of finding a corn header, switching out headers? One header does it all, pretty much, except for potatoes and beets. Those kinds of things. It'll do cotton, corn, canola, and all the other grains as well. So, hope you enjoyed it, and you found it informative, and we'll see you on the next one.